Hello, guys, and welcome here to our SCN bracket reveal show. Yes, we're here on a Thursday afternoon. We're happy to be here. We're not hungover from St. Patrick's Day, so that's always a good sign. I don't drink anyways.
Not not yet.
Not yet.
We're not trying.
Keep in mind, we're
That's what
recording
she
this
did
on
say.
Tuesday night, but it is getting revealed tonight because in just a little under a half hour, we have our first four games. We have the first four games coming up. So we wanted to get this video out before those games occur because we have our own predictions to make. We'll share those in a little bit. But first, I have to ask, because you weren't here on Sunday, I kind of ran the show on Sunday by myself. Thanks, Zach. Just kidding, bud.
Yeah, dick. I mean, just kidding.
We're kidding, obviously. So, any surprises that you saw make the tournament so far as you look through the bracket?
Yeah, you could probably be agreed with me on this one. We all thought that Syracuse wasn't going to be in,
I didn't
and
expect it.
they kind of somehow snuck in to the tournament like
Yep,
that.
and we just got the news because, of course, we're recording this on Tuesday. To my knowledge, no teams got kicked out of the tournament because keep in mind the first four out were the fill-in teams if COVID issues occurred. So now
Right.
the bracket is final. I will admit, I said so. You said Syracuse was a surpriser for you.
Yes, it was.
Obviously, as I look through, I mean, there are a few surprises. You know, I'm sorry, I'm just looking through right now. Obviously, Syracuse was a big surprise. I think Georgetown was a big surprise, getting in. They've had an awful year. They were 13 and 12, mind you, 13 and 12. Didn't
Hmm.
have a big win all year, and they won their way in through the conference tournament. So I'm not shocked that I'm shocked they got in. I'm even more shocked Louisville did not get in.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked about that too. I was quite
And
shocked to see Alabama on there and Houston. I
yeah,
mean,
well,
because I
Houston's a good program. That's you know, I guess I'm also shocked to see Alabama ranked as high as they are
I know
in this tournament.
second. See now, when you see Alabama ranked that high, you're thinking more. You're thinking more football that they're
Mm,
going to be ranked maybe second or first. Not for basketball. You would think that they would be bottom of the list
yeah.
to make it in, but that's not exactly what happened. But hey, they're in it. I think they could probably go far. Um, Let me see if I
Mm.
remember correctly. I had them winning the first round, but losing the Uconn the second round. So I
We'll
didn't
see
really have
though.
them very. I didn't really have them going very far.
We'll see, and I'll have you break down your bracket here in just a moment. Of course, Iona was another surpriser. I didn't think they were in because being in a small conference, I don't expect more. I don't expect more than two or three teams from each conference to get in. That's not in a Power Six. Now, normally, normally we discuss the Power Five. After what Georgetown did, the
Mhm.
Big East is in the Power Six. Okay, it's a Power Six now. I don't care what anybody says. You could say the Big East is basketball only. They
Mhm.
are a power conference, and don't sleep on them in this tournament.
No, I don't think you can. You can't sleep on any team in this tournament. This
And
tournament is literally made of teams that
yeah,
are just
and
like the teams you think that wouldn't win. They usually end up winning.
yeah, and also Colgate 14 and 1. I think that's even a shocker because they had such a small sample size, but they made it through their tournament and won. So they get the berth. But
But
again,
I know I was shocked about that too. But
yeah,
like I said, I know we're eventually gonna go on, but
yeah.
I didn't give them.
Then
I didn't honestly give them the benefit of the doubt in this tournament at
yeah,
all. I hate to say it.
yeah. Then before I let you reveal your bracket. Of course, another big surprise. Again, I'm going to go back to Louisville. As surprising as it is that they didn't make the tournament. The fact that they had so many COVID issues because they had a maskless party. They had a maskless party around Christmas. Got the whole team got COVID. I'm sorry, but I think the NCAA did the right thing in telling them, you're going to have to wait for another team to catch COVID to get in. Otherwise, you're not playing in this tournament because
unfortunately,
you broke the rules and they got them back.
Right. Well, karma hits people at the right or the right or the wrong times, and unfortunately, they were the wrong time to get karma on their side.
And
anything could happen. Who knows? They very well could still end up in. I mean, the tournament hasn't started yet, but at least by the time that we're recording this, it hasn't started yet.
Yeah,
but,
it's probably just starting to kick off as we're recording this. Of course, the games are on True TV and CBS, or True TV and TBS today, not CBS, TBS.
Yeah, TBS and CBS.
So, then... one thing I just want to ask as well before I let you reveal your bracket. I know I'm stalling big time.
No, you're fine.
But as you look on down the list, is there any teams you could see pulling some upsets in this tournament and ruining brackets?
I had VCU upsetting Oregon.
I mean, not necessarily who you picked in your bracket, but any teams that pop out to you that could pull an upset, even if you didn't pick them.
Probably not. Maybe other than Syracuse pulling an upset. I don't really see any pulling that upset in the tournament, honestly.
You know, I'm about to make Zach Carmine very happy. If you I think Georgetown's going to make a good run through this tournament.
They very well could.
I mean, look at the teams they had to go through to get the Big East Championship. They had to go through Villanova. They had to get through the Uconns, the Creightons in that conference. I think they have a good shot. Now here's the thing. Obviously they're going to have to get through Colorado. I don't think Colorado's that good for a high seed. You know, then of course they're going to have to get through Florida State or UNC Greensboro, but UNC Greensboro never usually shows up in the tournament. I wouldn't be shocked to see them show up though. But Florida State's always an up and down program. They have good years, they have bad years. Sometimes they're all show, or sometimes they're all talk, no show, basically. So I could see Georgetown running through here. As you mentioned, VCU, you can never rule VCU out.
No.
And another team you don't want to rule out, Loyola Chicago, the Ramblers, or I believe it is, Loyola Chicago. They're going to make a run again. They're poised to. And can we talk real quick about 101-year-old Sister Jean will be in Indianapolis, and this smile says it all. I'm excited. Fully vaccinated, by the way. Fully vaccinated, Sister Jean.
I'm happy that she's fully vaccinated.
In fact,
it's very hard
just so you
for
guys don't
anybody.
see the lower body, you can see I'm giving her a standing ovation, guys. She deserves it.
I'm just gonna say this now, but not best for other.
I hope you're cutting out her. All right, what were you saying?
Yeah, I said it's probably not best that she's like gonna travel age, but hey, if
she's
you're there,
their good luck charm. She has to be there.
Hey, they went very far with her last year. I can't see why they couldn't be the.
Yeah. Oh
so,
my gosh.
All the power to them. Let them go far. Let her be there and
let her stay healthy while she's there as well.
Yeah,
obviously, yes, she's fully vaccinated, just for full disclosure, but still, there's obviously the danger of being there. So,
Exactly.
On that note, let's reveal your bracket, Jason. You ready to share your screen here? Are you working on it or? Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
there we go.
All right, you weren't responding, so I wasn't sure what was
No,
going on. All right,
sorry. I was trying to see what screen was right for sharing it live.
here we go.
All right,
So you want to
everybody.
walk us
So
through?
this is my first half of everything. It's kind of hard to see because it's for some reason ESPN splits it between two. They don't have it all one.
So let's go through the
S-
top half first here, and then we'll go through
so
the
you want
bottom half.
me you want me to tell you who I have for the team
Yeah,
or
start with the West real quick, and kind of work your
oh
way through
goodness.
that.
Okay. All right. So West Gonzaga over either
Norfolk State or Appalachian State. That's going to be a
yeah,
game
which I
in
would
just a little
assume.
bit.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the first four. I have Oklahoma over Minnesota, Missouri. I have Creighton over UCSB, Virginia over Ohio, USA over Wichita State
Or Drake in there.
or Drake. I have
Okay.
Kansas over Eastern Washington because, why not? I have VCU upsetting Oregon, and I have Iowa over Grand Canyon. Now for the South section, I have Baylor over Hartford. I have UNC over Wisconsin. I have the Villanova Wildcats over Winthrop. I think that's how I
Yep.
pronounce it. I don't know if that's right or
You
not.
got it right, I think.
I have North Texas upsetting Purdue.
Upsetting the hometown team. Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for that, but
Oh boy.
uh, I have Texas Tech beating Utah State. I have Arkansas beating Colgate. Florida beating Virginia Tech. And I hate to say it, Ohio State has that great program, so I have Ohio
Yeah,
State
the
beating
Ohio State.
Oral Roberts. You want me to tell you everybody who's going to be in
Yeah, if you want to go through it, sure.
All right, then a round of 32 for the West side, I have Gonzaga over Oklahoma, Virginia over Creighton, Kansas over USC, and then Iowa over VCU, Baylor beating North Carolina, Villanova beating North Texas. So everybody that's probably going to give me flack for North Texas, I kind of redeemed myself here.
Hey, the
I have
North Texas
Villanova.
people might like you for that pick. You're very
Yeah.
well liked in Texas right now.
Yeah, but I won't be after telling them that they're not going to go very far in the tournament.
Okay, now you're on the no-fly list there.
I have Arkansas beating Texas Tech and then Ohio beating Florida. Now, in my Sweet 16, at least for the top section, Gonzaga beating Virginia.
You have you have the defending national champs going out to Gonzaga. That's interesting.
I know.
Keep in mind, they're not. While there was no tournament last year, Virginia is still the defending champs. So anyway, I'll let you keep going here.
Kansas beating Iowa. Then Baylor beating Villanova. I know. I'm shocked. You think that's shocking because Villanova, not that long ago, were national champions. But fortunately, I have Baylor over Villanova. And then, shockingly, Arkansas is over Ohio State.
Oh, wow. The Ohio State going out. So you have Arkansas and Kansas in your Final Four. Obviously. Now can we see the bottom half of the bracket before you show us your national champion pick? We obviously know who advanced there, but let's see it.
Michigan over either.
Let me check. Who is that? That's Texas Southern or Mount St. Mary's, and that is, I believe, the first of the first four games in just a little bit.
I have one of our local local New York team,
You're
St.
going with the
Bonaventure.
Bonnies.
I'm going with the Bonnies being LSU. Louisiana State University, I am sorry, but you're going out.
Can I tell you, though, can I just tell you this about St. Bonaventure? That I would not
What?
be shocked because LSU does a hell of a good job in recruiting, but they sure as hell don't do a good job when it comes to the tournament.
No. Not at all.
Oh, you took my advice to heart, I see, with the next game.
I took Georgetown over Colorado.
Whew.
Sorry, all you Colorado fans, but
Zach Carmian might actually like you after this.
Florida State over UNC Greensboro. I have
Michigan State or UCLA.
I went more. I'm going. Okay, I'm going to say this now. I'm going to go more for UCLA beating Michigan State University.
Ooh, making your pick early.
Yes, I am. And then I have UCLA being BYU because UCLA I know has a pretty good basketball program. Hence,
I'm sure they don't let you pick the first 4 games. Can I just say that? ESPN,
that would be cool.
ESPN, let us pick the first 4 games because you want to know what? That says more about your bracket, I think, than just the round of 64 in general. So ESPN, right. if you are listening to this, make that happen because you want to know what? Those first 4 games depend a lot. They have a lot to say on what happens in the future rounds.
Oh, I agree. I have Texas over
Albine Christian.
Uconn beating Maryland, and then Alabama
Roll
being
Tide.
Iona.
Yeah, Iona. You have them beating Rick Pitino. All right. I like that bracket already.
I have Illinois beating Drexel. Loyola Chicago beating Georgia Tech.
I see it.
Tennessee beating Oregon State. Oklahoma State beating Liberty. I have Syracuse upsetting San Diego State. West Virginia beating Morehead State. I have Rutgers upsetting Clemson. And I have Houston beating Cleveland State. Sorry, Bonnie, you're not going very far. I have Michigan beating St. Bonaventure. I have Georgetown upsetting Florida State. I have Texas beating UCLA. I have UConn beating Alabama.
Boy, did Gino go to men's basketball? By the way, prayers for our buddy Gino Aralema. Of course, he's battling COVID right now, and he won't be coaching in the women's tournament starting on Sunday.
Hopefully he'll be all right.
I'm sure he'll be fine. 97% survival rate. Just keep thinking that. All right. I'll let you continue now that I keep interrupting you.
No, you're fine. Illinois over Chicago. Sorry, Sister Jean, your team's only going to get past the first round and then
beating up on an old lady, man. Why are you hating on an old lady like that?
I have no idea, man. I have Tennessee upsetting Oklahoma State. Now, you'll be shocked about this one. I have Syracuse upsetting West Virginia.
This I find shocking based on the old Big East rivalry. So.
And then I have Houston beating Rutgers. So for the other part of
Bob Huggins, man.
Sweet 16, I have Michigan beating Georgetown.
Jawan Howard.
I have Texas beating. Oh yeah. Texas beating UConn. Tennessee upsetting Illinois. And then Syracuse upsetting Houston.
All right.
All right, so
then we go to our final 4 in the middle.
No, actually, it's Elite 8.
Oh, I thought you already went through that. Okay,
No.
okay, let's let you go through it then again.
All right, the Elite Eight. I have Gonzaga over Kansas and Baylor over Arkansas.
Then we go to Lucas Oil
Uh,
Stadium. Or actually, first year.
Michigan over Georgetown, and then Tennessee over Illinois.
Oh, Illinois is the first 1 seed out.
Yeah, I would have gone all 1 seeds, but this one was tough for the Final Four, at least for the first side of the Final Four. But my gut went with Gonzaga beating out Michigan State, or Michigan, not Michigan State, sorry. Gonzaga beating out Michigan, and Baylor beating out Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. And then do you want to predict a final score here for the tiebreaker?
Oh, goodness.
So Gonzaga and Baylor is your Final Four, or your national championship.
With ultimately Gonzaga beating out Baylor. Let's see.
Oh, he's going to go high scoring. Oh, really high scoring. Down to the wire. I'm going to guess you have overtime predicted.
You know what? I'm trying to think if I should change.
Yeah, that's 90 is about average, I would say, for a really good basketball game in college. If you see 100 in a national championship, chances are the other team didn't deserve to be there. That's just my opinion.
Agree.
Or unless it was like a 6 overtime Uconn Syracuse game. For those who remember that. So.
Well, because I think I look at it this way: it's up against each other, and you usually have 2 number seeds. You usually have a pretty good game and a good high-scoring game. And why not have it interesting? Game-winning shot. Have it maybe 87-89.
Kind of like
game-winning 3.
Kind of like Villanova and North Carolina a few years ago.
Yeah, that's basically.
I like that.
Hey, that's how Villanova won that national championship. That's when Jalen Brunson was on the team too.
And you know what? I will still argue to this day that was one of the best national championships you could ever see.
Yeah, because everybody thought it was going to be UNC that year. Boom, hits the game-winning shot and wins the national championship.
Oh, man. All right, so that is Jason's bracket. I'm going to reveal mine in just a second here. Let me just figure out a way to share screen. So we'll be right back here on SCN in just a moment. All right, guys, welcome back. I just had to figure out a way to share my screen so that way I'm not sharing, so you guys can still see us and whatnot. So now we figured it out. Here is my bracket. So I'll delete that pre-taped segment I had. So I'm going to start out in the West region here. I have Gonzaga beating whoever wins that first 4 game. But then we go on to the 8 and 9 game between Oklahoma and Missouri. Of course, an 8 and 9 game may be the best game you see in the first round. I don't think that's very hard to dispute. It's much like a 4 and a 5 seed in the NBA playoffs.
Exactly.
So it's going to be a good matchup. I think Oklahoma comes out with this just barely. Between Creighton and UCSB, I think Creighton comes out on top without a problem. Virginia, Ohio, I'm going to take Virginia, the defending champs. So then we move on to USC versus Wichita or Drake. I would not be shocked if it's Wichita State. I would not be shocked to see them beat USC.
Oh, is that what you chose?
I did not choose that, but I would not be shocked to see Wichita State make a run. But I'm going to pick USC for the sake of the bracket because you don't know who's going to win between Wichita State and Drake.
Exactly.
So then once again, the reason why I'm petitioning so hard for NCAA or ESPN to allow us to pick the first 4 games. So then we go on to Kansas and Eastern Washington. I'm going to take Kansas, the prestigious program, they're going to make it. They're going to always be a team that's a threat to go deep in this tournament. Then, much like Jason for Oregon and VCU, I'm going to pick VCU every single time in the first round. They're always a threat in this tournament, and people don't need to stop taking them lightly. Then, of course, you got Iowa and Grand Canyon. I'm going to take Iowa in this one. Great weightlifting program, off topic, but we'll just say that. Then I'm going to go to the South region here. We got Baylor and Hartford. I'm going to take Baylor here. You got UNC and Wisconsin, and this one was a tough one for me to pick because North Carolina has had a pretty bad year. Wisconsin is always a threat in the NCAA tournament. So I barely picked North Carolina. I was really hesitant to pick that one because it's an 8 and 9 game.
Right.
So I'm going to go North Carolina here. Then you got Villanova and Winthrop. I had to go Villanova here. They're always a team that finds their way to national championship. I wouldn't be shocked to see them make another run. Purdue, North Texas. The Texas people are going to hate me more than they hate Jason. I got Purdue moving on. Then you got...
No, it makes a lot more sense. It really does.
It does.
Hey, I had to throw in a few...
Yeah, you had to throw a curveball in. That, it's a risk you take, and it's always a good risk. Texas Tech, Utah State. I got Texas Tech moving on. Bobby Knight's old program there. They're very good. I believe Buzz Williams is their coach over there. So he's a very good coach. I can see them moving on. Arkansas and Colgate. I know they have a very small sample size, but Colgate could make a run. You can't rule them out. But I'm still going to take Arkansas. Florida, Virginia Tech. I don't think Florida should have been here. I'm going to be totally honest there. I don't think Florida should be there. I'm going to take Virginia Tech over them.
Okay.
And I'm going to say they're going to face The Ohio State University in the second round. So then we'll go to the lower part. Michigan will move on over whoever that 16 seed is. LSU, St. Bonaventure. Sorry, I went LSU because they always do good on the recruiting part here. And St. Bonaventure, there's nothing to take away, there's nothing bad to take away from them. It's just, I honestly think LSU is the better team. Then you got Colorado, Georgetown. I think, again, Georgetown is clicking at the right time, and I think they're going to move on. Florida State, UNC Greensboro. I'm going to take Florida State University. BYU, MSU, UCLA. This was the one time I broke my rule on I don't care who's in the first four, I'm not picking them. Both those programs are always high prestige programs. I think one of them advances to the next round over BYU. Texas and Albine Christian, I had Texas moving on. Uconn, Maryland, I got Uconn. And then Alabama, Iona. I'm going to tell you another thing. I would not be shocked to see Iona move on in the tournament. Okay? I'm going to make that bold prediction. If there's going to be a really low seed that moves on, I think it's going to be Iona because it is Rick Pitino we're talking about. This is a Hall of Fame coach. Okay? He wants to fix his reputation over in Iona. I would not be shocked to see him beat Alabama, but I'm going to take Alabama here. Then, of course, we got Illinois moving on against Drexel. Sorry, I gotta lean over so I can see through my camera. Loyola Chicago, I got moving on over Georgia Tech. Tennessee, I got beating Oregon State. Oklahoma State and Liberty, I got Oklahoma moving on. I would not be shocked, though, because I think Liberty was a team last year that or 2 years ago that made a surprise run. So don't rule them out. Tennessee, I'm on Syracuse now. Syracuse and San Diego State. it's all going to depend on if or Buddy Boeheim shows up, if Joe Girard shows up. What are you getting out of this team is going to be the biggest thing. Alan Griffin, there's a lot of unanswered questions because they're just so inconsistent, but I'm going to take Syracuse moving on just because the last matchup between San Diego State and Syracuse. West Virginia, Morehead State, Bob Huggins' program is going to move on, West Virginia. Clemson and Rutgers, I got Clemson moving on, but that was another tough call. Houston, Cleveland State, I got Houston moving on. Whew, take a deep breath. That's the first round. We'll head back up to the West region. I'm going to take Gonzaga over Oklahoma, but Oklahoma's heating up. Okay, make no mistake about it. Oklahoma's heating up. They could beat that number 1 seed, but I just don't see it. Tell I'm getting exhausted here, but anyway, here we go. Creighton, Virginia. I got Virginia moving on. National champions always seem to fare well. USC, Kansas. I don't think this one's going to be as close as people make it out to be. I think Kansas moves on big.
I think so, too.
Yeah. Iowa, VCU. I would not be shocked to see Iowa or VCU win, but I have Iowa moving on because they've just had such a great year. You know what? I'll just stick to the West region. We'll move on forward. I have Gonzaga being the first number 1 seed out.
Really?
I think they're the first one out.
Oh, wow.
Okay, weren't they in this situation just a few years ago where they were undefeated entering the tournament and lost?
Yeah, I think I remember that too.
Okay, they're not in a power conference. This is why I don't have them moving on. Yes, they beat Virginia earlier in the year. Yes, they beat a lot of good teams earlier in the year. But this is the tournament, okay? This is the tournament, and it's very tough to beat a team twice. And I don't think Virginia and Tony Bennett, not the singer, the coach, Tony Bennett, is going to stand for another loss to Gonzaga. So Virginia moves on. Kansas moves on. I just went on the prestige of the program with this pick, and Kansas has a better history with basketball. And then, of course, I got Virginia going to the Final Four out of the West. Okay, so now I'll go to the South. I got Baylor beating North Carolina, but I wouldn't be shocked to see North Carolina get a win out of here.
No, I probably couldn't either. Tough for me because, I know more about North Carolina being that big basketball program better than Baylor. But for me, I had to go with gut instinct, and sometimes a lot of that gut instinct is like, you see the number 1 seed, you kind of have to go with the number 1 seed.
I can't bet on a first seed going out in the round of 32, let alone the round of 64 like it happened a few years ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's just too high of a risk for me to take, and I think Baylor here has just had the better year. Villanova, Purdue. I'm going to take Villanova here. They're still showing signs of being a championship team. So I think they move on. Then you got Texas Tech, Arkansas. I take Arkansas barely in this. So I think they move on. Then you got Virginia Tech, Ohio State. I'm going to take Ohio State here again. I think they move on. So then, as I move on down again, here's one, again, just another 1 seed you can't bet against in the round of 32 with Loyola Chicago playing Illinois. I'm going to say it. I think Loyola Chicago has the best chance to beat a number 1 seed out of these lower seeds that are still remaining. But I had to go Illinois based on the year they've had. I can't discredit Loyola, though. I think they're going to make a run. Then, of course, Tennessee, Oklahoma. I had Oklahoma State moving on. Oklahoma State is OSU. They're really catching fire late in the year. So It must be those Oklahomas. It must be that state. They just catch fire at the right time.
Yeah, they usually do.
Yeah. Syracuse, West Virginia. I had
If only they could say the same about their professional basketball team, but I will digress from that.
Oh boy. Yeah, West Virginia, Syracuse. I had West Virginia moving on. Clemson, I had beating Houston, believe it or not.
Really?
Again, Houston's not in a power conference. I can't give them the benefit of the doubt here.
Plus, Clemson's more of a football program than they are a basketball program anyway.
Yeah.
So
they're an okay basketball program. I'll give them the okay part of it. Beyond to the Sweet 16 for the South and Midwest, I got Baylor beating Villanova, but I think this game is going to be insanely close. I think it's going to be a nail-biter. And then Ohio State, I think, will handle Arkansas pretty easily. Illinois, Oklahoma State. I got to go Illinois here. I think they're going to pull it off. Then, of course, West Virginia, Clemson. I see West Virginia moving on. So then between Baylor and Ohio State, I'm picking Ohio State. I think they're just the better program. Illinois, West Virginia, I'm going to take Illinois here. Then, of course, now I'll finish up with the East region that I totally skipped over. Michigan over LSU. Florida State over Georgetown, but I do see Georgetown putting up a fight. I see them putting up a big fight, possibly moving on to the Sweet 16, but I'm going to pick Florida State. Texas, I think, moves on, but if it's Michigan State University, I could see Michigan State making the Sweet 16. I just can't rule out Tom Izzo either. He's a hell of a coach. Uconn, Alabama, this game's going to be close, but I take Alabama.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's going to be very close. So what you picked with Uconn beating Alabama, I can see it.
I had to, because Uconn, I just feel like has
the prestige of the program.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I hate to say it, Alabama does not scream a great basketball program to me at all.
We'll see. They've had a good year, though.
Yeah. For once. I mean, tell me all the other years when you do these brackets, if you've ever seen Alabama number 2 as
Not
a basketball
often.
program.
Not often.
Exactly.
But they're having a good year, and I can't discredit
now, if you see a
them.
bracket, for a bracket for a football, you would see Alabama every single year.
Yeah. Absolutely.
In the college football playoffs every single year. They're either good and don't get into the national championship, or they're way too good, beating up bottom of the arc teams and winning the national championship. There's no in between. There really isn't.
Absolutely. Then we fast forward here. It's something with Juwan Howard. He is running a hell of a program over at the University of Michigan. I'm taking them over Alabama. Yes, you heard it here. 3 Big Ten teams advanced to the Final Four. Illinois, Ohio State, Michigan, and then, of course, the ACC team in Virginia. I think Michigan beats Virginia, and then I'm going to take Ohio State over Illinois. I think this is going to be a revenge game from the Big Ten championship. And then, of course, we're going to end the season with one of the biggest rivalries in college football on the college basketball stage. Michigan, Ohio State. And I have Michigan winning. 75-68. Michigan gets the national championship.
That's crazy. You have Michigan, Ohio State as your national championship game.
Explain
your reasoning behind that.
Again, I think Ohio State's in a pretty decent region where they can move on. They're not. If they were in the Midwest, I don't think I'd have them moving on. That Midwest is loaded with talent and good teams. Illinois is strong. I think Illinois comes out of it, but I just don't think they're good enough to beat Ohio State. And I think Ohio State has a chip on their shoulder after losing the Big Ten championship. And as far as Michigan, their resume speaks for itself. I mean, they're a really strong basketball program this year. So
see, it was really tough for me when it came to the Sweet 16 to not go for Ohio State because they have such a great, like you said, they have such a great basketball program every single year.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what? I gotta throw some curveballs in there, and it never hurts to have throw those curveballs in there. Like we said, I've done a couple of these brackets, and every time I go for more of the top teams, one ends up getting beaten. One ends up getting beaten. Like, so I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let me throw some logic in there and be like, you know what? Who knows? Arkansas could very well beat up Ohio State.
Absolutely. And
so we don't know what could happen, honestly. So everybody, please don't scream at Brian and us for our picks.
Yeah, sorry if your team doesn't move on, but that's not our fault.
In there, and it's probably going to get me a lot of flack. But you know what? I do these brackets because they're fun.
It's a hell of a lot of fun, and I'm glad the NCAA brought it back. So
I know, I'm glad they did too. And I'm also, throwing a curveball because it's the tournament. Anything can happen.
Yes, absolutely.
Like we've seen before. I know it doesn't happen very often, but we've seen a 16 seed team beat the number 1 seed. Hence why everybody was able to go and
Virginia will never live that down.
Yeah, exactly.
You can redeem yourself the next year. You'll still never live it down.
Nope.
Look at Golden State with the 3-1.
I know.
Oh man.
But that's why everybody was able to get their free Doritos, Locos Tacos that day.
Don't get Taco Bell, guys. Sorry, Taco Bell. Don't. Taco Bell, if you heard it. No, you didn't. Yeah.
Go somewhere that has real Mexican.
Taco Bell, if you're hearing that, we love you and we want you to sponsor us.
Yes, please. Anybody sponsor us at this point?
No, it's good stuff if you don't mind it. I mean, it's okay stuff. But anyway, let's get on to our first 4 predictions here. I believe the first game on tap is Texas Southern at versus Mount St. Mary's. Texas Southern is favored by 2.5. Who do you have here?
So you said it's Michigan Southern?
Texas Southern versus Mount St. Mary's, with Texas Southern favored by 2.5.
Probably Texas Southern, honestly. I don't know anything about, both programs, but I would probably have to go with the one that has a better chance than the other.
Something about those religious schools. I'm going to tell you. St. Mary's, I forget, it's the Gales, I believe. They're the ones in the division with Gonzaga and BYU. So I'm just going to say it. They have a good reputation in the tournament. I'm going to go with Mount St. Mary's in the game. But, I think the 2.5 odds, I think that's about accurate of what we can expect. Then you got Norfolk State and Appalachian State, and Appalachian State is favored by -3.
Appalachian. I have to go Appalachian State. They're usually always in the tournament anyway.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree here. Norfolk, nothing wrong with them. I think Appalachian State is going to be the better program in this game. So then we got the biggest first four game that you're going to see. Michigan State University versus UCLA, and Michigan State is favored by -1.
Well, you already heard my prediction. I already told you it's
UCLA. Oh, man. I can't rule out Tom Izzo. If this was John Wooden's UCLA, I would say UCLA would steamroll them. But this is not John Wooden's program anymore. It's Michigan State today, I think. I think Michigan State's going to win. It's going to be a very good game for a first four game. So we'll see. Then our final game that we can predict today, Wichita State, the Shockers, going against Drake. And Wichita State's favored by 2.5.
Wichita State, like I said, they're usually always in, so I can't see why they...
And they're usually a very good program, so I'm going to agree with you here. So I'm going to say Wichita State, they're going to be the Shockers, and they're going to be the Shockers of the tournament, per usual. So, anyway, that is it for our SCN bracket reveal show and our first four predictions. We hope you liked this video. We'll see you back here on Sunday, SCN Sports Talk. We'll talk a little bit more about the NCAA tournament. We're, of course, going to talk about some NBA news, plenty of free agent news in the NFL. We got that coming your way.
Definitely be ready for that, everybody.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot. This is going to be a long show.
There's going to be a lot of ranting, probably.
Ranting and raving and a lot of excitement.
Yes, so please stay tuned for our Sunday edition of SCN Sports Talk.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you're football fans, you're going to love the craziness that has unfolded.
And, of course, he cut out again.
Oh, sorry. Okay. No, I said, you guys, if you're football fans, you're going to love the craziness that has been installed the first 2 days of free agency.
Yeah.
And if you're a Patriots fan, you're probably loving it.
And if you're a Chargers fan, you're hating the hell out of New England right now.
And if you're a Bills fan, you just think, why?
Yeah, but we got that all coming up for you. We'll, of course, have Out of Turn 4. So tune in this Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or YouTube. We'll be here. And, of course, check out our friends on SCN Unloaded. They are going to be talking a lot of good stuff. And they might have actually earlier, because we are uploading this on a Thursday. They did yesterday for the first time in a long time. So you won't want to miss the Canteen podcast. Tune in. It is at 3 p.m. Eastern after the Pat McAfee show. That is on YouTube. And no, we don't have rights to the Pat McAfee show. It just happens to be when they decided to premiere, and we couldn't be more happy for them.
Right, and hey, this time they're going to do something a little bit different. Like, to do it, I think, if I remember correctly, they said...
They called us Raw.
Yeah, they called us Raw.
We'll see who's raw. What they're doing
is they're cutting, going.
Yeah, cutting and going.
If I remember correctly, on YouTube, you actually can make... how was it?
Yeah, like you can do that. Yes,
you can do sections.
But of course... we won't get into the editing portion, but...
Oh, look who's in the lounge.
Oh, man. Well, we won't add them in here yet because we're actually just wrapping up, but we want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here on Sunday, guys. Until then, goodbye, everyone.